Oh, okay. Let me take that down for you. All right, folks, let's make sure we are good. I had to double check my Zoomers, my Zooms. All right. You know, folks, we are Gen Z, right? She's laughing. We are. It's true. It's okay. It's okay. Me too. Me too. I am Gen Z, a real Gen Zer. Okay. And we got my Zooms. I got my Zoom class running. And so I always have to fiddle with the camera. But nevertheless, hello everybody! Hey! Woo! Let's go! My name is Graham Smith. I am as you can see there, I put my little greeting. You're lucky, the class this morning didn't quite get the official, introduction. So you're going to get the full wazoo here, okay? They got one wazoo, but you'll get two. All right, baby? So here we go. Yeah, Graham Smith. I am a volunteer teacher coming from Oregon State University and University of Oregon out in Oregon, and in Eugene and Corvallis and all of that. And the community college not too far away in the same region, Linn-Benton County Community College. So here I am, folks. I have to be really loud because unfortunately this classroom, it doesn't have a microphone. So I'm just going to have to speak really, really loud so you guys can hear me. Because that's one of the issues I run into a lot when I'm teaching my classes is my students can't hear me. So I'm going to try to, use my big voice for you so you can actually hear me. So here we go. Let's jump into this. Yeah, I've been teaching, for a while. For a couple years now, and what I usually do, thank you by the way, I already said it maybe, but thank you again for coming. This is, it's volunteers, so I'm glad that you guys are interested in this kind of content, this kind of teaching material. I will, I am your man for creative writing. If you want to learn how to write a script, that's right, don't smile. I love the smiles, I love the laughs. Okay, we're all Gen Z here. Come on, we got a little 6'7", we got a little bit of the Kirk Genuously. So, all right, but I will teach you how to write a script. Okay, that's the film lecture series that I started earlier this year. And a lot of my students come up to me at the university and they were telling me how, hey, I never have written a script before, Graham, and so I wanted to make sure and explain to you that I can show you how to write a good script. I've been doing it for years. This is something I'm very educated in and all that. And so I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled to show you all how this is going to go. It's going to be a real good experience for all of you. I hope that we can all grow together, exponentially. I am in the area for a while, so we will be planning on doing something like this pretty soon here. So anyway, folks, yeah. So, okay, that's where I was going. Sorry, I got distracted. I'm in a new place. It's exciting. Just this campus, by the way, is wonderful. Oh my goodness. I went down to the library early this morning, and I had seen you guys have a new Starbucks in your library. Fabulous. Fantastic. You know what? Oregon State University, they don't have a Starbucks in their library. No. So you guys are special. This is a cool little community college. I love it. I would definitely go here if it had been years prior to me becoming a teacher. So, excuse me. So here's what we're going to do, folks. I usually bring a script to class. We are working on 6 scripts out in Oregon. But I didn't want to just bring a script for you to just jump into and not really know what the hell's going on and all that, which would have worked. It would have been all right. But I came up with something even cooler. And I'm serious. You guys are going to have a way better... What was that? Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Is that? I can't hear you. Really quiet. Oh. Oh yeah. No. Go ahead. Get up. Do whatever you want. You know, it's not elementary school. You gotta, you know, you gotta go. You know, talk to mommy, daddy, whatever. Go ahead. Don't worry about it. You know, come back. It's easy come, easy go. Okay? Easy come, easy go, folks. And anyway, where was I? Yeah, so I wasn't going to, you know, crash you guys into a script that you don't know what the hell's going on. I made a generalization sheet of my script writing theory, okay? My technique for writing a good script that's got to have a lot of meat, it's got to have heavy weight, it's going to really draw, you know, the conclusion that you want to make, the effect that you need. It's going to really drive that home. Home run. And yeah, you guys are going to get a way better class than my morning class. You know, don't tell them, of course, don't tell them. But unfortunately, I've got something a lot cooler for you guys. Because for them, we had a good class earlier today too. Because I had made a script that me and my team were working on. I did bring it. And it was really nice. It was really good. We went through it. I just read a little synopsis of what it was, and then we kind of broke it down and looked at core themes and kind of some of the deeper concepts of what will you. It was very good. But this is going to be even better because this is going to touch on the generalization. It's going to pick on the whole picture of how, you know, how you can write multiple very good scripts that are going to draw blood. If you will. So here we go. This is my screenwriting theory, all right? This is the architecture of... when I'm writing a script, I'm thinking of the architecture of emotional, psychological, and spiritual relevance, okay? That's what I'm thinking of. That's what I'm going for. We don't care about formatting, and this is in, you know, it's got to be like this, and the margins, and the font has to be 12.5. No, we don't do any of that poppycock, okay? No. This is the architecture of my scripts, of a good script, and of many, many men and women before me. The architecture is very much emotional, psychological, and the spiritual impact. And we'll be touching on that a little later, so stay tuned. But let's just look at a core principle of what I'm all about and how I make such successful films. It's simple as this. A script is, and this is an error that so many creative writers run into. They think a script is just this sequence of events, okay? They think it's a sequence of events, right? You know, Mama come over here, and then Humpty Dumpty fell off the thing, and then, right, we got Lassie jumped in the well, and then we pick up baby Mama, whoop, you know, and she jumped over the Red Sea, or the dragon, or whatever, right? No, it's not a consecutive sequence of events. That is lazy writing. It's stupid, and it's not going to get you in you know, it's not going to get you anywhere. These Hollywood writers, that's for the Hollywood writers, right? That's for the Hollywood writers. They give us garbage, okay? You go on your Netflix, your Peacock, your Hulu, your Disney Plus, your Disney Minus, really is what I call it. Anyway, your HBO, your Max, you know, all these, the writing today it's horrible. The writing is just, it's nuts. It's just, there's no good writing anymore, folks. But this writing that I'm going to show you, these techniques, that is, are going to be much better. And I apologize, I don't have a microphone. So that's part of the reason I have to be so loud. So I do apologize if you can't hear me. I hope you can hear me. So we'll make sure to stay at this level. If I have to, I can try to be a little louder, but, you know, we'll see what happens, okay? So, let's just jump right into this, okay? A script is not a sequence of events. It is a constructed human experience designed to leave a lasting imprint. It is a constructed human experience designed to leave a, you know, leave you something, right? An imprint, a memory. It's supposed to stay with you, you know? You want to read something that you sit, you read it, and you're moved. It moves you. That's good writing, okay? And we'll show you how to do it. The goal is not to tell a story, okay? The goal is to alter the internal state of the audience, okay? So when you think of your audience, you got to realize that you want to alter the internal state of their being, okay? And a lot of this is how I do this, is we incorporate spirituality into our screenwriting, okay? That's how you're going to do this, folks. You're not going to be able to just do a consecutive sequence of events and leave out anything that's really spiritual and expect people to have it hit them. You know what I mean? It's not going to work. You got to have some kind of sense of spirituality, some kind of sense of, altered state of mind, really. You got to be in an altered state of mind. Look at any trauma healing in life. That is very much, you can't just do it without diving into all the crevices and the details, right? And it's the same thing when you're writing a script. So I like to say there's 3 layers to every scene, okay? Every scene operates on 3 levels. Okay, you got your surface level, right? The surface level, what happens, right? You got your action, your plot, your dialogue, right? Simple enough. That's what the audience sees. But the second layer that a lot of writers, nowadays at least, not back in the day, but nowadays they miss this one. Ooh. Second layer is the psychological layer. Okay? What is it? What is felt? What is felt? What do you feel? There should be tension. There should be an imbalance. There should be emotional shifts. Okay? There needs to be this phenomenon of what the audience experiences internally while they're watching whatever you had created. Okay? It's just absolutely vital that you do this. And our third layer is the residual layer. Okay? This is the after effect. This is what lingers on once the scene has ended. Hell, once the whole film has ended. Right? In the bigger picture, but we're just talking scene by scene here. This is what lingers after one scene ends. Okay? If your scene only works on the surface, it will be completely forgotten. If your scene is as flat as this, right? There's no dimension. If I can't, rip it open and dig inside of it, it's going to be forgotten. Because it's flat. It's like a piece of printer paper, that's boring. It's not going to stick with people. They're not going to appreciate your work. So I'm going to make sure that I teach you some things that will force people to appreciate your work, because really your work is sincerely a reflection of who they are. Okay? It's really appreciating them. You want people to appreciate your work. A lot of the problem is they don't appreciate themselves. So you got to take them there. And then they appreciate your work because they finally appreciate themselves. Okay? Reality is this horrible construct, society and all this thing. There's not a lot of self-worth out there. Unfortunately. Something a lot of Americans struggle with. Especially in Generation Z. You guys, you're sleepers. You're sleepers. You're sleepers on mental health. You're just sleeping. I don't know what the hell you guys are doing, And I'm a Gen Zer too, don't get me wrong, but I went through the vigorous courses and have actions, and I've gained enough wisdom, if you will, to learn some self-worth, And I still struggle with it, don't get me wrong. I'm not I'm not Elvis level where I feel amazing. And he felt really good, right? Because, look how he went. Anyway, metaphysical themes. Oh, so there we go. This is the metaphysical themes area. Okay, across all my scripts, there is a recurring pursuit of something beyond logic. In fact, where's my notes about what metaphysical? I wrote something real well. Bear with me. It's pretty good. Okay, metaphysical love is a big theme in all of my scripts, and I write a lot of different kinds. I write sci-fi. I write horror. I write war movies. I write a lot of drama. I have family pictures, romance, all of those. But they all have a core theme of something called metaphysical love. Okay, metaphysical love is a divine, universal, and non-physical force that transcends personal, selfish attraction. I'll say that again. Metaphysical love is a divine, universal, and non-physical force that transcends personal, selfish attraction. Okay? So that's the underlying big core of a lot of my scripts, is simply that. And that kind of dives into something else that we call spiritual residue. But I'm going to have to keep going here. We'll come back to that. But it's a love beyond possession, right? It's an identity beyond environment. It's a meaning beyond structure. And it's an existence. Oh! It is an existence beyond physical reality. Okay? These are not explained, though. These are not explained. They're felt. You feel them. You feel them. So much of what I write is not exposition. Rather, it is a introspective action. Okay? So how do you use this? Well, Graham, how do you use this as application? Well, here you go. I'll show you. Okay? Your character, you take your characters and you get them to encounter forces that they cannot fully understand. Right? And dialogue should always point towards truth without defining it. Okay? Dialogue should always point towards a bigger, higher truth without defining it. And you should always have moments throughout your film that feel larger than the characters, right? These moments should always feel bigger than the characters themselves. Yeah, some truths in film cannot be explained, they can only be experienced, right? I had just recently done watched a documentary on Apocalypse Now with Francis Ford Coppola, okay? And that's a very good example of a movie that you really can only experience it. You can't to really understand it, right? You can't just whatever. So now I'm going to jump into what I was just explaining a little earlier. This is what I call spiritual residue, okay? Spiritual residue. Every moment leaves something behind. Spiritual residue is the enduring emotional and spiritual imprint left behind by someone or something which continues to guide, strengthen, and shape the living. Shape the ones who are still alive. It's very much attached to the residual energy of past human beings, past spirits, past, whatever. And really what it is it's the people on earth before they died, all the love that they put onto earth and into their soul, that energy is still felt, right? And those folks around us, after they die, those folks that track the people that died can gain all that love and almost take on their personality. It's the reality of it is, like I've had friends die, right? I've had people that I love die, and what happened when they died is a piece of them came into me spiritually. I took on a little piece of their personality. I took a little piece maybe even into their physical appearance. I took a little piece into how I dress. I took a little piece of mannerisms. And I took a hell of a lot of the love, if not all the love, that they left behind, not only for me, but for their experience on earth. It's a real thing, and it's a beautiful thing to tap into, and it's your most effective tool in any creative project that you work on. I don't care if you're a painter, I don't care if you build ships, I don't care if you work at Costco and you do origami, okay? That spiritual residue is what's going to make you succeed and make you thrive in your creativity. Okay? So spiritual residue is the enduring emotional and spiritual imprint left behind by someone or something which continues to guide, strengthen, and shape our daily lives. Okay? And if maybe, let's say you're not very superstitious. Okay? Spiritual residue, then, for those of you who are not very spiritual, okay? Because we're not, I'm not saying, whatever, the thing or whatever, but this is it, all right? Let's say you're not a spiritual person at all, and you're just completely, it's just all intellectual, right? We're at a college, I don't blame you, right? Thousands of years of superstition. Why would I want to believe in anything that can't be proven, right? I get it. I get it. I come from Oregon State University. Trust me, guys. Not a lot of spiritual people there, and that's fine. I get it. But this is why they can't write effective scripts. It's because they're not incorporating it. Even if you don't believe in it, you got to incorporate it, folks. And I mean, that's why my scripts and my friends and the scripts they write, that's why they stick out a little bit, because of this technique. But let's just say, for the argument, you're not a spiritual person. So what is spiritual residue if I'm not a spiritual person, Graham? Well, spiritual residue is what makes that choice meaningful instead of delusional. Okay? Spiritual residue is what makes that choice meaningful instead of you just being delusional. Right? Well, I feel my Uncle Joe, he's in heaven. That's delusional. But the choice to believe isn't. Okay? Metaphysical love cannot be fully understood through objectivity alone. It's beyond our understanding. You ever loved grandma, mama, dada, papa, your dog, your cat, whatever. Is there someone in your life that you felt loved unconditionally or that you love really, really bad? Okay? You can analyze that love, but you can never fully understand it without experiencing something beyond analysis. Right? You could call it spiritual, psychological, existential, I don't give a shit. Call it whatever you want, but there is a layer of human experience that data alone cannot explain. Okay? We don't need proof for always allowing meaning. Excuse me, let me say that again. We don't need proof for allowing meaning. And our generation really struggles with that. But we need to hear that, and that needs to be incorporated. That's what's going to help us have the most freedom when we're writing, okay? Is understanding that we don't need proof for allowing meaning. Don't let the world invalidate you. Your creative works mean something, and they do mean something, and they will always mean something, and it'll create a spiritual residue for the next generation, okay? So that's one of the most important things I would love for you to go home and take with you, okay? Alright, let me go to my next point here. That's our spiritual residue. Spiritual residue is a huge thing in my class. When I'm down at Oregon State University, that's what I'm always telling my students. You can ask any of them. They almost get bored with it, because I always say spiritual residue, spiritual residue, spiritual residue, because I need it to be drilled in your head. Because you got to tap into something higher than yourself to be able to write something that's really Right? Okay? So another thing I really like to do when I'm script writing is add a lot of psychological tension. Okay? Tension is not just conflict, it's a sense of imbalance. Okay? And the sources of tension can vary. You know, it comes from silence, it can come from power shifts and a dynamic between characters. It can come through emotional suppression. It can come through unspoken truth. It could come through what's not being said, right? And how do we apply this? Well, we replace the exposition with subtext. Okay? We use stillness. I use stillness a lot as a pressure, right? For something building up. Something building up. It's a great tool for foreshadowing. Okay, so let the audience sense what characters avoid. Always leave room for letting characters, always leave room for letting your audience sense what the characters avoid. Okay? What is avoided in a scene is often more powerful than what occurs, right? Speculation is a good thing if it's used properly. Okay, we got tone, contrast, and reality collapse. This is another beautiful concept that I use when I'm writing my scripts. I like to, if I could define it in a certain way, it's dreamlike. A lot of my scripts are very dreamlike. They're procedural. They're peaceful to violent. There's always a contrast, a tone contrast. And then reality collapses, right? It's controlled and then it's chaotic. Right? Okay, why do I do this? It's because it mirrors human experience. That's the world that we live in. These kinds of things happen every day. I mean, go around the world, you'll see it. Go turn on the news, right? I do it to disturb emotional comfort. Because I don't think a lot of people on earth are emotionally comfortable 24/7. A lot of times we are, but not always. And that's more common than people like to talk about. Probably because they're emotionally uncomfortable. Okay? Contrast is what makes a moment unforgettable. Always have a compare and contrast. It's good. It's really good. And then another thing is character truth over plot. Okay? Characters are not tools for story progression. Rather, they are independent psychological systems. Characters act from internal truth, not convenience. Contradictions are preserved, not resolved. And decisions may disturb the expected narrative. A real character will break your plot before they betray themselves. It's almost like I'm fighting my character while I'm writing the story out, because their truth needs to matter that much. Now hold on, folks. Let me double check my Zoomers here. My Zoom class goes off all the time. Let me double check here.